I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello and welcome. Did you know that every master was once first a disaster? And today we're going to talk about that a little bit and being okay with being imperfect. If you're here for the first time, thank you for being here. If you're here live again, thank you for being here again and or for the first time. And if you're catching this on the replay, help us out by telling us where you're at, and hashtag replay would let us know that you're watching it later, which would be fantastic. Also, I would like to let you know that there's two gifts for showing up and watching today or on the replay that you'll be able to get. And the first one comes from my sponsor, which is a shameless plug for me. I am a business coach with Focal Point, and I'm just going to play a little plug here. So the inspiration came from an email that I received earlier today to talk about being okay being a imperfect human being in terms of showing up as an entrepreneur, as a human being, as a father, a mother, a daughter, spouse, friend. It's okay being imperfect, because as we said, every master was once a disaster. Brian Tracy says that the top 10% started out as the bottom 10%, which brings me to a slide or an image slide, whatever you want to call it. Let me just bring this up right now. And here is the cycle of learning, or the learning cycle. In order to get to somewhere where we have a habit, don't have to think about it, it's automatic for us, we go through 3 stages. The last one is unconsciously competent. This is the habitual aspect of things that we get stuff done, like driving a car, having a shower, shaving, making a coffee, and much more complicated. Public speaking, for example, learning how to use technology. Gosh, if you had to see me 2 years ago using this platform, it's pretty easy to use, even for the uninitiated like myself. But I actually have had feedback that I've come a long way. So that's a good thing. It means I've moved from unconsciously incompetent, didn't know what I didn't know, moved into consciously incompetent. So now I know there's some things that I could learn and improve upon. And then I get to a conscious competence. So I've actually become fairly proficient at it. And I want to move up to the blue square where I'm unconsciously competent. So just accept and embrace the fact that when you start out with something new, you're maybe not going to be all that good at it. But the more you continue to do it, the better you'll get. It'll become second nature. So that was the thing that caught my attention in the email that I received. Matter of fact, he's switched the name of he puts out an email every day. I think he's been doing over 500 days. And sometimes they're a little hokey, but his heart's in the right place. But today's was Chris Rock's advice. And he says, according to Chris, here's a quote: "I'd always end up broken down on the highway. When I stood there trying to flag someone down, nobody stopped. But when I pushed my own car, other drivers would get out and push with me." So what Carl, my friend and coach, is suggesting we do is do what Chris Rock says. And the last part of Chris Rock's statement is, if you want help, help yourself. So the translation that Carl has put to this is, make that imperfect call, whether it be a cold call or a follow-up call or a difficult call, make it. Do the best you can. It won't be perfect. Send the imperfect email. Post imperfectly on social media. Create the imperfect updated bio. That's a good one. Attend the networking event and deliver your imperfect elevator spiel. Host your imperfect workshop or seminar, or live stream like I am this morning, this evening, or this afternoon, or on the replay. Look at that. I'm imperfectly messed it up. Or was that perfectly messed up? That's an interesting question. You guys tell me. Do a highly imperfect daily email for 500 days and deliver an imperfect podcast called Business Coaching Success with over 5 million minimum downloaded. So that's where I got that from. His name is Carl Bryan. And I was inspired by him today to remind myself and anybody who's listening is that just start. And as you start, you'll get a little bit better. You'll learn some things. You'll go from unconsciously incompetent to unconsciously competent, which is where we want to get to eventually. But it's what and who you become along the way that has probably the most value. Because once you get to that other level, you've increased your efficacy. And when I mean the other level, where you're unconsciously competent, you get to a place where you can take on more stuff, do more things, and experience life at a different place. That's not all bad, is it? Anyway, here's a little image for me for you from me. And I got this, gosh, when I was selling homes back in the 80s, I went over to one of my buddy's show home location to learn some things from him. And I noticed he had a can on his desk. And on that can, it says, "Success comes in cans." Well, here's a modern day image of that. So success comes in cans, failure comes in can'ts or cannots. Success comes in taking steps forward, imperfectly, uncomfortable, maybe incompetent initially. But as we started off with this session today, we develop the skill set, we develop our efficacy, we develop our ability to get stuff done. So just remember, success comes in cans, not can'ts. So the other gift I have for you, I should go back to the first one. Shameless plug I had on the Focal Point Ask a Business Coach. I happen to be a business coach with Focal Point. You can see the branding there. So my gift to you, for anybody who would like to have a 20-minute conversation, ask a question of a business coach, just go to my website, which is right here. Let me bring it up for you quickly. It's right at the bottom of the list. Here it is, right at the bottom here, ticker tape. You can go to coachphil.ca and send me an email. Once you get there, you can see the emails right at the bottom there, phil@coachphil.ca. There's nothing to buy, no credit cards required. Just we'll book a 20-minute conversation. You can ask me a question about anything: time, team, money, succession planning, like exit strategy, or maybe you want to take on some other new initiative. Let's have a conversation. And if I don't have the answer, guess what? I'm connected to at least 200 other business coaches around the globe. And one of us will be able to help you out in that 20-minute call. And then the second gift I have is business growth score. So what I want to try and do here is bring up actually, if you go to the website, it'll be right there. But this is what it'll look like. Let's go to the next slide here. You'll see this when you go to coachphil.ca, the website. You'll see maximizing your business success. So you can go there and take a complimentary business growth score to give you an indication as to where you're at. And if you want to have a conversation around that with your complimentary Ask a Coach question, we can talk about that. If it's something else, we can talk about that. Anyway, that's enough advertising. I see there's a person or two that's jumped on. Let me see who's here. Hello and good morning. And I'm glad you like this. Yes, success does come in cans, doesn't it? Not in cannots. Being an option thinking, solution oriented individual is a great place to come from. Is it easy? Sometimes it is, actually. And other times, no, it's not, because you're frustrated, you're human, and you don't have all the answers. But if you think about the possibility, one of an affirmation or declaration that was shared with me by another mentor of mine says, I may not know the answer to the question right now, but I'm solution oriented and the solution is on its way. And because we keep that kind of a thought in our thinking, we're actually planting a seed into something that's called the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system is something that we all have within us. And the reticular activating system is, well, have you ever bought a new car or a newer car than the one you had before? And if you did, what did you notice outside of the new car? The fact the car might ride a little bit nicer and has a few other options and makes life a little bit more pleasurable driving it. Other than that, that's all inside. But on the outside, what did you notice? Did you happen to notice how many other people had made the same great decision that you did? Interesting. Well, that actually ends up being our reticular activating system. So it's like a net-like group of neurons that pay attention to the things that are important to us. They heighten our awareness. That's why goal setting is such a powerful thing and an important part of the living process, to set our intentions. And our reticular activating system will actually find clues, possibly solutions to the question we've asked of it to pay attention to. So the car is just a little example. One of the things you could do to play a game with yourself, if you're out and about driving, look for cars. We'll make it easy. Just cars with license plates. That's a good thing, right? Those are easy to find because 99.9% of them have a license plate. What I want you to look for, though, on the license plate is the letter M and the number 4. And see what shows up. For me, well, I won't tell you for me. You tell me what you find out as a result of that crazy ask by me. Anyway, that brings us to another episode concluding. And before we jump off, I want to bring on this here one more time. I want to bring this up to remind you that the U in wonderful is deliberately a U and not an O, because it reminds us, and should remind you, that you really are wonderful and unique. So go act like your unique, wonderful self. And that's a wrap for us today on the Business Renovator. Have a bountiful, successful week.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.